what's up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 352. Whoa, fuck, how strong is Rob Lucci? I keep asking this question, but, you know what I mean, the fact that he took out Franky this easily has me wondering, how strong is this dude, and how the hell is Luffy going to be able to beat him? I mean, how the hell are Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro going to be able to defeat any of these guys? You know, Nami, I'm guessing Nami's going to end up fighting Khalifa, but how are they going to win? Because they're severely outclassed. I mean, Franky isn't a pushover, and he gets fucking one-shotted, man. Like, Lucci just shows up. I guess you'd call it two shots. He takes him out in two shots, man. You know, he gives him a kick, and he gives him an uppercut, sends him flying into the drafting room, and to, you know, Franky's credit, he gets up and he's like, "Don't you touch anything in here. You can't touch this stuff. You're stomping over somebody's namesake right now. This is a sacred room." And I like that because this does transition us into a flashback more than likely, or at least a long monologue spiel from Franky. I'm willing to bet this is a flashback. My flashback radars are going off, but this was good. This was good. I like the transition that was used for this, man. You know, it's a little obvious, but at the same time, this was good because it pushes the, you know, plot forward. But what I thought was pretty interesting, and probably my favorite part of this chapter, and because I'm recording these so close together, it's very fitting for me that I just shared my experience of when my sister had to put her dog down. And I mean, I love the fuck out of that dog, don't be wrong. But at the end of the day, that was her dog, you know, and I like how I just had that. And then Usopp uses this example that's somewhat similar, where Usopp is just like, "Dude, would you tell a friend who's on their deathbed that, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you," and turn away? And that, for me, is Oda throwing back to Syrup Village. Now, just bear with me for a second, okay? I almost led off the chapter review with this. I feel like this is very important, so just bear with me on this part. The reason why I feel like Usopp is in his feelings is because his mom was sick. And I feel like Usopp, when stuff like this happens, Usopp is not able to compartmentalize. I feel like when it gets to this point, Usopp is going to stay with you. He's loyal. He's going to be right there by your side. And he wants to do what he can to make things better. You know, when you got, you know, Kaya wasn't feeling the best. Usopp gravitated towards her, start telling the jokes and everything. His mom, "Oh, Dad's coming back," and just telling all the lies and everything. And now you got the merry-go, where it's the same thing, where "I'm going to keep fixing you up." I feel like Usopp needed to go back to Syrup Village for that reason. Because I think Usopp is just so in his feelings right now. I feel like Usopp is that guy who's playing the video game and he knows that, you know, he's out of extra lives and everything is about to end. And he just holds down on the button and just hits the reset, and it's just going to start all over, you know, after walking away from the game for a little while. And that's what I feel with Usopp. And I feel like Franky made a really good point where he says, "Look, man, you don't see the silver lining in this. This is pretty bad. Your ship's going to fall apart. I offered to tear it apart. I was going to do it in a way that you would respect." And given the fact that we as readers know that this dude is actually the apprentice of a shipwright, it makes sense that he would have those feelings and understand. And so he would give it a proper dismantling, burial, if you will. And this is the beautiful thing about it. Usopp's like, "Look, I don't care about any of that. I hear what you're saying. It would be messy." Usopp doesn't say this, I'm paraphrasing now, but Usopp's basically like, "I would feel bad as hell if that ship, you know, fell apart in the ocean like you're saying. But I'm going to take care of the merry-go. I'm not turning my back on it." And I feel like this is where Usopp's character got a lot of development, man. He got a lot of development, and Usopp at this point is turning into one of the better written characters in the series. Everybody in the Straw Hat Pirate crew, for the most part, they've been fleshed out really well. And that's something that I've said on a lot of times, is very impressive, because when you got cast this big It's really hard to develop, especially in the main cast. It's really hard to develop all of them. You know, to give you a perfect example, you know, in literature, you know, I've talked about how there are symbolic numbers. The ideal number for a cast is 3. Okay, 3, no more than 7. And the reason why is at least for main characters, is with 3 you got your main character, and then you got the hero's helper, and then you got like the hero's aide. Like it's those two, or maybe the hero's rival. Those like that is interchanging, right? And the best examples I can think of for that is if you go into Star Wars, you got Luke, and then you got Leia, and you got Han Solo. And that's like your Trinity. And it just swaps out at certain points. Like in episode 1, it was Luke, Han, and Obi-Wan. And it just kept switching. Whereas with Harry Potter, it's the same thing. You got Harry Potter, you got Hermione Granger, and you got Ron Weasley, okay? So that's an example of 3. And then with 7, I believe it was 7 for Lord of the Rings. But for as talented as Tolkien is, those characters, after you get past like the 4th or 5th one, they're not as fleshed out. They got characteristics, but it's almost like they're one-dimensional. Like, this is the funny guy, this is the smart guy, this is the archer. Like, kind of like that, okay? So I find it impressive that Oda has this vast cast around Luffy, right? And they all have their own personalities, they have their own wants, and they're continually growing. And I feel like with him, Nico Robin needed this arc for 2 reasons. Because I feel like at this point, Oda hasn't really thought of what he wants to do all the way with Nico Robin. I feel like this arc was needed in order to push him to where he sees the character finally going. Because at this point, it's just like she's there. Like, that's all she is. She's there. Like, when she left, it hit. But it didn't hit as hard for me as when Nami left, because Nami had gotten like the development, right? And it hit though because, you know, she had that moment, I want to live. And it didn't hit like when Usopp and Luffy had that breaking up. And so I like how with this chapter we have that moment where Usopp's character continues to grow, and once again he and Franky, they're about to go fist the cuff, boots the asses all over again. And that's when Franky's 2, you know, secretaries get sent flying the hell back, because Khalifa just shows up and literally kicks their asses, sends them fucking flying, and it breaks up it breaks up Usopp and Franky before they can even start throwing down. And that's when Rob Lucci is just like, look man, we work for the government. No, CP9, you ain't heard of us? Alright, man, you need to get down with the crew. But that's when the whole fighting and everything shows up, and Franky automatically knows what time it is. Like, he's just like, okay, I can't do anything to stop these dudes. I can't. But I'm going to keep them from finding out the truth. They're with the government. Shit just got real. And the expression on Usopp's face let me know 2 things. The first thing is Usopp, I feel like, was thinking about the ship. Like, I can't let them damage the ship, okay? And I might be wrong with it. I might be reading too much into Usopp's character. But I feel like since a large portion of... I know, you're like, what the fuck was that? But since a large portion of this chapter really dealt with Usopp and the last few... And really, this whole arc is an arc about Usopp as much as it is about Nico Robin. But since it dealt with that much, I feel like that's what Usopp was thinking. And then the other thing is like, dude, you are so out of it right now. Like, you are so outclassed. Like, Usopp at this point is like Finn running away in everything in Star Wars Episode 7, right? Like, it's just like, he could probably fight. We've seen him fight. But this dude just needs to get the fuck out the way because he's outclassed. And that's the feeling for Usopp. I was feeling for Usopp's character at this point, because if something were to happen to the merry-go, there's no way in hell that Usopp could defend it. So I'm going to leave off my chapter review right there. Overall, very good chapter. My chapter question for you all is going to be, if there is a flashback coming up, or put yourself back into my shoes when you were first... reading or watching One Piece, What were your thoughts? Did you think we were going to get a flashback, or did you think we were going to get a monologue, or were you just so caught up in the epicness that was going on? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to share. Thank you for watching Kryptonian Saying, guys. Have an awesome day.
hideout